In what could become the latest flashpoint in Muzaffarnagar, the UP government says they have proof that organizers of the camps are land grabbers who are using refugees as a proxy to grab forest land or to further their political agendas. The Forest Department has served an eviction notice to one camp with 4 more to follow. But in the absence of a clear policy to resettle the refugees, this may only worsen the standoff, as the refugees find themselves caught between an uncaring administration and those looking to milk their crisis for a personal gain.
In Barnavi refugee camp, home to nearly 300 families who fled the violence, they tell us the camp was settled on wheat fields owned by the village pradhan.
पहले यहाँ क्या था जब आप आए यहाँ पे? क्या जमीन थी? क्या
मुंजी थी जी।
मुंजी क्या होती है?
जीरी।
धान। अच्छा, ये किस मतलब जमीन कौन सी है? ये किसकी जमीन है?
प्रधान बोर है जी।
प्रधान बोर है जमीन पे। अच्छा, तो उन्होंने आके बसाया आप लोगों को?
मैं बसा जी यहाँ।
But the records of Uttar Pradesh's Forest Department tell a very different story about the ownership of the land and of the village pradhan.
Aladdin, who had been the pradhan of that village,
and who is now sort of in charge of that camp?
He is now the camp organizer, and twice I visited the camp pursuing the refugees to get back to their villages. And what's happening is, like, you know, he's giving assurance to these people not to go back, and I'll get this land sanctioned for you.
And he has a history of...
he has a criminal history of forest land. Yeah. And we are proposing, a report to, declare him as, forest mafia also.
ये किसकी जमीन?
ग्राम पंचायत की है जी।
ग्राम पंचायत की?
हाँ, ग्राम पंचायत की जमीन।
और सरकार जो कह रही है ये फॉरेस्ट डिपार्टमेंट
गलत है, गलत कह रही है जी।
गलत कह रही है?
गलत कह रही है। 98 बीघे जमीन ग्राम पंचायत की है जी।
और ये जो आरोप लगा रही है आप पे कि आप जमीन पे कब्जा करने के लिए ये सब कर रहे हैं?
हाँ जी, गलत लगा रही है ना जी। गलत कब लगा रही है ना वो
कह रही है कि पहले से ही कई ऐसे केस हैं आप पर जमीन जब्त करने के, और यही आपका वो है?
कुछ नहीं, कोई केस नहीं है जी।
कोई पहले का केस
ना, कोई केस नहीं है। सब झूठी बात है।
ये आपको लगता है आप पे प्रेशर बनाने के लिए कर रही है?
हाँ जी, प्रेशर बनाने का ना, आगे किसी डालियां झुक उठ जाए।
The conflict in Barnavi is the latest flashpoint in the Uttar Pradesh government's attempts to close down the refugee camps. They say they have proof that not 1, but 5 camps are squatting on forest land. The work of vested interests who want to use the refugee crisis as a proxy to grab land or leverage the political benefits of being a patron to the refugees. The patron of the biggest existing refugee camp, Malakpur, which is also on forest land, is this man, Kamar Hassan, who will make his political debut in the Lok Sabha elections on a BSP ticket from Kairana, under which the camp falls.
और आप उसको कब्जा करने के कोशिश में लोगों को वहां बसा रहे हैं?
नहीं, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है।
और जो एक आरोप लगाया जा रहा है कि आप इसीलिए ये सब कर रहे हैं क्योंकि आप चुनाव में उतर रहे हैं, आप इसको पॉलिटिकल लाभ की तरफ से देख रहे हैं?
ना, ये पॉलिटिकल लाभ के लिए नहीं है। ये तो सिर्फ इन लोगों की मदद है, और मैं तो चाहूँगा ये लोग अपने घर वापस जाएं और सही सलामत जैसे पहले रह रहे थे उसी तरह रहें।
But the Forest Department has already sent an eviction notice to one of the smaller camps. More are to follow. They say they are targeting powerful land grabbers, not the refugees themselves.
See, sympathy is always there, and we have waited till, for last 3.5 months. Now also we are not using any danda over them, right? And as per the legal provisions, we have issued notices to in only one camp. If you observe, if you go into details of it, mostly those have been served notices who are mostly the local villagers, or who have wrongly came and occupied the land.
But when the bulldozers come, that might be a meaningless distinction for displaced families caught between a government that has failed to address the refugee crisis and patrons who look to profiteer from their tragedy. With camera person Xavier Thomas, Srinivasan Jain in Barnavi for NDTV.